So hello, good morning, everyone. I can see that we're live now, live on air. So have every good morning to everyone, and Ramadan Kareem. We are presenting this show today in English. So the session is co-hosted through, of course, Creative 971, which is the company today delivering the training. I think I'm speaking loud and clear, but if there's any concerns, anything, please drop it to the comments. We will make this a very efficient and interesting session for you guys, and thanks as well to the TRA that is providing this service and providing the opportunity to us to help you and train you in these times. Now, the TRA has been doing a lot since the past couple of years, looking at e-commerce and Creative 971 as a company, which I will introduce to you in a second. You will understand how does this collaboration came through and how is this strategic partnership working. Now today we will have a 1-hour session. Topic: changes in consumer buying experience towards COVID-19. So as you all know, we're currently in a situation that is I would say very, very different from how we normally operate in life, or even our daily things like grocery shopping or going to, like do essentials or going to do our work only. So, of course, those changes are felt in our presence across boards, may it be families, kids, anything. So since it touches the entire world, and since it touches as well our world here where we live, the TRA and ourselves have decided to do one session specifically on the changes in consumer buying behavior. Now, we're going to talk from a perspective from it. How does it change from you as a consumer, like me, anyone going to the groceries, for example, or even any other retail or any other necessities that you have to buy? And we're also going to talk about the merchant side of things, because maybe some of you that are watching today are interested in understanding, okay, I have a store, I have probably a retail store, or I have an e-commerce website that I want to make happen, and that I want to understand how can I make a better sales, how can I serve my customers better, what can I do all over in this current situation that we are. Now, we will start with a presentation. And today, as of what you can see, or where you can see in that little window as well, it's myself. I'm Julia Jackel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the company called Creative 971. Now, I've given you a bit of an information of what Creative 971 is doing. But for those of you who have probably not heard about us, or who have not heard about, in general, more e-commerce related companies and what we are doing, I'm going to let you know right now. So Creative 971 is a 100% e-commerce expert company. So what we do, we provide cutting edge websites for retail brands, basically for anyone who has their products online. Now, obviously, COVID-19 times force a lot of companies to digitalize. We've given a session on that, I believe it was around 10 days ago. There is obviously in the TRA government links, you will find all the recorded sessions. So I would recommend you, or highly recommend you, go back and check what the TRA is all offering. This session today as well has a certification of attendance, which after you filling assessment questions, you can obtain that. So pay good attention to the session today, and I'm sure you will have a lot of benefit. Now, coming back to what Creative 971 is doing, as I mentioned, It's a 100% focused e-commerce company. In the picture that is shown here, you can find myself and Nico, who is my co-founder. What we did is a lot of educational series. So we're not here just to say, okay, Yalla, you need a website and here we go. Our work, or where we actually come and play, and that's why we are here as well today in collaboration with the TRA, is to make you understand where can you actually have a benefit, you know, in our localized market. Where do you see the UAE has a potential, and how is the behavior changing? Obviously, we've seen, or maybe you've heard, there's a lot of studies and a lot of case studies, and a lot of people are saying, oh, in the next, let's say 6 months, I will not change my buying behavior. I will still keep going to the stores, or I will still try to do everything the way I wanted to, or the way I'm used to do it, right? But during the situation and the buying behavior in coronavirus times at the moment, we cannot do certain things as we want to. And there are several factors. There's one being we're not allowed legally, right? So technically means we cannot, even if we want to. Secondly, we can change our behavior to protect ourselves and our families. So that would be the one where you say voluntarily, okay, I would change this and this behavior, also purchasing behavior to protect myself and my family. And then there's the third factor, which is a soft factor, which we call it a psychological factor, which happens if you're seeing people social distancing, wearing masks, which is of course an enforced rule and law, which we all, you know, recommend you to do, and the stay home and stay safe campaign. As you can see, that video is recorded out of my home, not working from the office. But those points you can see, those are measures, you know, for the greater good, which means for the entire residents and community. It's only necessarily like for you as well to take a decision. So the whole point, what I want to say is it has an impact. So everyone has an impact. So even if you decide I will buy from Amazon now, or I will buy, let's say, from a local website, you do make an impact. You do support a local company, for example, compared to an Amazon company. You can have a choice of consumer, like as a consumer, it's your right to choose where to buy from and how to change or how to better your behavior. And this is part of what we will talk about today. Now, to give you the full introduction of the company and then to jump to our actual topic, as I mentioned, Creative 971 is an e-commerce web design, web development agency. And it's owned by Nico and myself. As I said, we're the co-founders. We're originally from Germany, and we founded the company early up in 2016, which was purely e-commerce agency, only working on Shopify and Shopify Plus, which Shopify Plus is the enterprise platform for the larger companies. Myself, I'm around, let's say, 10 years in the UAE now. And due to that, we've chosen the numbers as Creative 971. So 971 was chosen because of our commitment and gratitude towards the UAE. We live and love this country and definitely try to make our best to contribute to the community. So you will find as well in the next step, just to show you conferences. Now, obviously, this is an older picture, and unfortunately, we do not have those in-person meetups or conferences at the moment. Just to let you know that our agency, Creative 971, is amongst the 200 worldwide official licensed and registered Shopify Plus agencies. That sets us apart in what way? Because in the Middle East, we're the leading agency, meaning we're running the official Shopify Plus events. So we run the event and as a first ever Shopify Plus conference in the Arabic region, which was 2018. And this is where you see the picture now. Retail groups from all across boards, the Middle East, are invited and attended. Shopify Plus, as I said, it's dedicated to larger enterprise companies, but not only that, but we also cater to all levels and all entry points where you want to touch base with e-commerce. So today we have a live, let's say an online training that is dedicated to people who really want to only focus on online learning, who do not, want to engage with people who maybe also not have the opportunity to travel, right? Let's say if you're in Saudi Arabia and you cannot travel to the UAE to attend an event, or perfect times now, COVID-19, our behavior changes, I cannot come to attend an exhibition or train or learn myself in a studying way of one-to-one. I have to transfer everything online. Now, in September 2019, we launched a full e-commerce blueprint program for the Middle East and for the UAE region. So what we've done, we've took a few partners and made sure that everything is aligned and giving you the best of opportunity. All right, so next one. As you can see, we're entering our topic today, and changes in consumer buying behavior in the times of COVID-19. Now, obviously, everyone will say, yeah, I know that, and things are changing, and we know that, and, you know, what you have to consider is to understand how it really, really changes, how it impacts people. So how do you shift from physical store to online? Now, there's several applications and softwares that the UAE companies enable, which we're going to show you. You can either screenshot them later then, or make sure you have them available on your phone. They're in the app stores, meaning those apps are really localized companies that help you understand how to navigate through this and stay safe. So how do people shift from buying necessities online instead of physically buying in the store? It can be anything, right? We also have the scenarios that you may need to go, you know, to buy some essentials for your work or anything. And examples of the applications, as I just mentioned, and then we will help you and show you 5 quick basic steps that we train or that we learn as well, anyone that we recommend in help stopping the spread of COVID-19. Now, today we're seeing that the online buying is rising, right? So what does that mean? A lot of people go to Amazon and they purchase from Amazon. And yesterday they've released, I think in the news, the top 5 items bought from UAE users in Amazon. And I think a lot of you can probably guess what were those 5 items, right? Apart from masks, face masks, it is single-use gloves, it is hand disinfection, I think it was number 1. Then we're having essentials such as items you can store, like water, essentials that you cannot or that you would not carry around on a daily basis. And those points just heavily show it's not only buying online items like groceries, which we're using applications to buy online, but also to really, really make sure what impact does it have, right? What impact do I have, as I said, as a user, as an age group, if I buy online and if I will buy from Amazon or if I will buy, let's say, from a local company producing gloves, right? Think of it, we are in the UAE and we are a nation, right? No matter where we're from, we're living in the same country, so we have to support each other. We have to support the environment and the ecosystem in our country. So obviously you don't know who in Amazon has listed the products. You don't know if it's maybe your neighbor or someone locally, or at the other end, if it's someone far across. So what we see or what we want to understand and engage here is for you to understand that you can buy locally, support local companies, but at the same time change the buying behavior that does not only extend to groceries. Now, obviously, we have always been in the UAE, I think, one of the countries that is the top of mobile device usage. So that comes down to anything you want to do. We have been using multiple devices of mobile. We have been using, as you can see here, 72% as per the latest Forbes review. E-commerce, online retailers, fulfillment system and everything is really channeled to make the best of it. And to understand and improve the customer experience online should be our goal. So us as a user, we would probably go to an application, maybe locally or internationally. We understand, okay, we have, let's say, navigation problems. And we understand on a mobile, a lot of companies have not assigned their websites to be mobile functional. So what we need to do is make sure your mobile version is on point, right? Now, how do we do that? As a user, how you can help, and because this is your user behavior, how you can change and contribute. Show, let's say, the local company that you buy from, tell them, I had this and this experience, it's not really been well, or it was well because of so and so. So give a constructive feedback, let people know why the buying behavior was good or why it wasn't. And that feedback, local companies should encourage to give a benefit, right, to you, to understand that you help them shaping the correct ways. Now, more than ever, the mobile devices are on the forefront. So for anyone out of you there who want to build a website or who want to go into the e-commerce market during the times of COVID-19, you have to understand that your users are going predominantly into mobile view. Full stop. There is not going to be, okay, I have a desktop version and I'm probably going to focus on, my store or my pop-up store. You see that the world has come to a still stand or has come to a halt, and everything is understandable and everything is clear by the time we have to look at what actually is in use. And most of us are actually working from home, probably, but understanding that working from home also has good things, right? We can access our laptops, we can work on everything, we can make things efficiently, but we do understand as well that working from home, for example, will have a lot of us hanging in social media, using probably predominantly more, let's say, Instagram, because Instagram is the most popular platform in the UAE, apart from Snapchat. So those two, let's just pick those two social platforms. I know we're in a recorded or in a live session here, but if I would ask any of you, how many people are actually on a Snapchat or Instagram more than 10 times per day, I think I would see every one of you or most of you raising their hands, especially in these times now. So what do companies do? What you should do is search out for local providers in the social platforms. Make sure anyone who has a company and who want to advertise, I think now is the time to really go into digital marketing, go into social media advertisement. You understand that the power, the buying power of people and the power of you as a customer or the power of you as a business owner is always there where your target customer is, right? So here we understand 72% are using the mobile. That doesn't always mean social media, but the likeliness of using social media when you're browsing or when you're doing an online purchase is very, very high. So I want you guys to please keep a focus and keep a note on that. This is very, very important. So as I just mentioned, and as we can see, e-commerce is becoming the new norm. Why? Because everyone is literally forced to digitalize their business to make sure they are not on a still stand with the business, to make sure we're still getting a lot of good sales, we can sustain, now is the time to sustain businesses, to help people and to help businesses to survive. Now, obviously, since we're not allowed to go, or were not allowed until a while ago, and still are very restricted in going, let's say, to malls and going for shopping, we have to make sure that e-commerce is on the forefront. Now, what does that mean? For example, there's many shops available from one brand in a lot of different malls and a lot of different centers. But what does make you different from other companies? So what does make one company different to another? Those are the points that you can really highlight in an e-commerce, and not only through, okay, I'm online and I'm live, but as well in how can you actively contribute and how can you make it a success? So I think that's the message here. When online shopping in a store was available to shop, we were not even thinking, to be honest. None of us was even thinking to, to maybe go online, or actually, no, let's be realistic. a lot of us were already thinking, okay, let's go online. I was forward thinking. I need e-commerce to be for my business, and I need it to be there for my customers. Those people you will see for now, what has changed for them, because consumer behavior changed to a digitalized way, their businesses have come to revenue stream number one, e-commerce. So e-commerce penetration in the UAE right now is very strongly on the rise. As a prediction, and I was reading a couple of articles as well going around LinkedIn, especially around coronavirus and how does the consumer behavior change in our times and how does it change in the future, we came to know, or we came to understand, that e-commerce is on the forefront more than ever. It's on the safety of users. It's because of not able to leave home. People are being considerate, right? Everyone wants to make the right thing and the right decisions. So what we see and what is the commitment or the understanding of those communication and of maybe a lot of news that you can read online, we're expecting around 90% internet e-commerce penetration by 2021. So what we're expecting is 90% of the businesses to be online, to offer digital content, to sell digitally, and also for the users to be educated and to be confident enough to use those e-commerce channels, right? Just because we have e-commerce and everyone wants to go and shop online, it doesn't mean it's always the best experience. I can give you one example. I went on a shopping spree online, of course, in the lockdown. And I was shopping online and those items were not arriving for 4 weeks. 4 weeks, nothing came. I did not get to hear back from the company. I emailed them, I called them, I sent them messages in social media and Instagram. This company was ignoring me in the best possible way. And I was super frustrated. No customer service at all. Nobody replied the phone. There was an automated message saying due to coronavirus, nobody is in the office. Then at least this was somebody doing. Instagram, no reply for 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, I had a door ring on my door. And the item, actually, you will believe it or not, was delivered to my home after 4 weeks. There was no note or anything in. Obviously, in these times, all of us, we have to be very considerate and we have to understand it's very challenging times for delivery companies, for you as a provider, for you maybe to get your items, right? It's always you want to distribute items. You're not always providing them themselves. And as in, we understand that coronavirus is something we, in that extent, as a global pandemic that we haven't experienced before, of how it impacts our daily life. So I was not upset on that company for not delivering the item on time, because obviously I understand we're all in a lockdown and we want everyone to be safe, right? But what I didn't agree with is the way the company handled that. If you're at home and if your team works from home and if you're the owner of the company, and that's for all of you now who want to establish their business, how can we make a difference? Even if you have exactly the same products to offer across board, it's the customer service. So, and I think there's one comment, Mohammed Maki in English, the world is developing very quickly. Coronavirus give us a good lesson. I totally agree to that. What lesson does it give to us? Even though I can see you now from the screen, or you can see me from a screen, and we're not in person, we're not in a room where we can, engage and talk. But believe me, these times are teaching us new ways to come closer together. So what does that mean? That means people can give their opinion to everyone. You see, that company, just as an example, I was telling them I was very unhappy with the way they dealt with it, but the delivery came. Obviously, we know delivery companies have their struggle, but it's on the point of the e-commerce company. And I think you will all agree with me. If you own a company that sells online, the items delivered to your end customer, it's a lot of times not in your hand, right? You have maybe third-party delivery providers, or if you're not having your own drivers, you have your item to your customer. Now, that's a challenge because it will delay, but delivery delays, to be honest, I'm happy to accept them. I'm happy to absorb them as long as we know the item comes. And here is where I told you the company failed. They did not reply. they did not care, they really did not care to communicate why the item was late. And this is where I felt awkward, because I've spent around 400 dirham on the website, which is not a huge amount, but in the end, it's a very considerate amount. And I was not satisfied with the way they were treating me. So in the future, I'll tell you, I will not order from this website again. But meaning I know that these items are available on other websites, so I will change my behavior and go there. Now, this is something, yes, we know everyone changed online and, the shopping is different from before, but as a customer, please keep that in mind. If a company does not respond to you or does not come, you will need to make sure that this is the number one. Service should be the number one in these times. Understanding, consideration, empathy should be the number one in these times. That's why I'm telling you buy locally, because most of the time, if it's a local company, this company is really, really here for you guys now and for the future. This is what I think also the scenario or COVID-19 is bringing along, to look more internally, to look locally what resources we have, what offers we have, and to make sure to use them professionally and to make each other happy rather than to dissatisfy. So convenient experience, obviously e-commerce, as I just mentioned, it's very convenient. We're at home, we're not having to sit or stand at hours, putting ourselves at risk. We can sit from home, we can sit from the laptop, we can sit from the phone, we can be active, we can make sure that everything works the way we want it to. So the only thing that brings challenges, so everything good also brings challenges, as you guys know. So it's good to shop online, it's good to save time, it's good, to social distance and to stay at home and to help, the spread of the virus to be contained as much as possible. But on the other hand, yes, delivery and delays are expected. I think there's one good example. If you're going to IKEA website today, IKEA UAE website, it shows you even a little heart in a notification that there is a delay expected due to a lot of online demand. And this is a beautiful example of how it's completely done right. Me as a customer, I will understand, cool, I've moved online. I understand my items will be delayed because of a global pandemic, which everyone can understand and everyone is happy to. Secondly, I will understand the items come even a week later. I will know today, am I ordering a necessity, right? From IKEA? Most probably not, right? I'm not going to order water from IKEA, or I'm not going to order a frying pan that I need tonight from IKEA 2 hours earlier. So those times that we're spoiled of getting deliveries fast, try to have a bit of empathy and try to be a bit considerate. They're trying their best to make things happen, but it's also in our hand, how do we portray it, right? If you see, for example, as I said, IKEA now, and IKEA is really giving a good example, and we're supporting IKEA because they're giving a good customer service, for example, right? This company is able to do more and better for us. Now, if you're looking at the companies who do not engage with their customers, who do not send them an email, or who do not reach out on social media, how do you ever make sure that this company is actually giving a care after this situation with the virus, right? So there's small things you can read between the fine lines to make sure you're choosing the right company. But as a consumer behavior, of course, and I agree with some of the comments that I see, we have a problem definitely, or challenges, I would call it challenges on the other hand. But believe me, all those challenges are as well due to the situation that everyone is in at the moment. So as we discovered, and as you've just learned from the presentation, that mobile shopping experience is on the rise. So with 72% and expected 90% in 2021, we have to make a mobile first decision as a company if you want to go online, rather than having various confusing channels. Have one online presence, or if you have a physical store that you can operate, make sure it's seamlessly connected, make sure the messaging is clear, the online experience, the online mobile user experience is the most essential thing. If your customer goes to the website and is stuck or is not able to click on certain buttons, or the mobile menu is not opening, then you're halfway lost, and these are essentials from a website that should already be there. So letting that set in. As a consumer, it's super frustrating. I mean, we have time and we have patience, but if you're going online now and you see that there is no support, or that there is no willingness for the company, let's say, to go online, you'll understand, okay, how they're going to do that in the future. So keep that in mind. As I said, habits already changing. Now, I think the first case was discovered here end of January. And according to the changes, we understand that online shopping has increased. I know for the grocery area, it's probably a couple of 100%, I think 800 or even beyond 1,000% of increase of online shopping for groceries only. We've been seeing across board in an average of 74%, meaning that the increase was really, really tremendously showing towards the online. And post-corona, whatever happens, we don't know. It's just expectations. But, you're learning something through this. And I think the digitalization was always a challenge for a lot of companies. And digitalization was a lot of challenges as well. For companies to go online. But it should be a possibility, and it should be working out. So let's keep positive, and let's keep the safety measures up and make everything happen. So the power of e-commerce, just to show you, the senior director of Hawkins Group, he was giving a quote, which I want you to screenshot if you like that too. The kiss of death comes when companies aren't able to create a seamless experience between online and offline shopping. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Online and offline, it's sometimes not only online and offline from retail store and online website, but as well your entire communication, right? So it's me as a company, let's say, offering an item from a website or from a mobile app, but then my social media channel or my emails would not function in the same way, or I would not reply, I would neglect some channels and I would only focus on one. So let that be a lesson for a lot of companies, but in the end as well, do understand that from a user perspective. So the evolution continues, and obviously, as everyone knows, e-commerce has grown to be the preferred shopping method for consumers. Now, obviously, not in every industry and not in every sector. There is still a lot of industries that rely on in-person interaction, that need that personal touch, that need that, or that cannot function without it. Let's say delivery companies, right? There's a lot of contactless delivery and to make security and to help delivery drivers and delivery companies to stay safe. It's the same as workers in the hospital or the healthcare sector. But to make sure that all customers have similar expectations when shopping, that's a fact. Now, as we just touched base on it before as well, service and hospitalities are forced to change. So as I said, contactless deliveries, single-use items, this is all, or single-use plastic items, plates, etc. The stay-at-home mandate stays valid across board, no matter if malls have partially reopened or not. And some actually have said that technology is rising or actually giving a good opportunity to rise at the same time. So for service and hospitality, it's going there will be a trend to go digital as well. There is now as well B2B websites offering food B2B services or B2B electronic item services. The B2B sector is also changing, not only the consumer side, because in the end, as a company, if you need to buy supplies for your company, you're also sort of a consumer. Now, or as we touched base on it, for food delivery companies, but no matter, not only for food delivery companies, I think it's for every delivery company these days to ensure the public health and safety, to really have the least point or the least number of infections, I would say contactless deliveries are number one in focus, not only for the safety for you, as in picking up the item, but as well for the safety of the delivery company, right, of the drivers. So gloves, mask, ringing the doorbell, or making a phone call when the package is in front of your door, to really make sure you do not have to interact. And the less human contact you have, I think studies show that the less interaction, the less close you are to a person, the better it is. Now, obviously, for them, there's a lot of health and safety measures which the Dubai Health Authority is focusing on. What we have to understand here is when you receive a package, obviously, I want you all guys to wash your hands, make sure things are going well and clean. So obviously those points have to be considered. Now, what are the lessons learned from this pandemic for smaller and bigger retailers? Now, predominantly talking about the UAE, so we'll definitely go into more details here. The lessons are learned that we're not only shifting our consumer behavior now in this pandemic, but even shifting them for the future. Why? Because now we're forced to learn a different way of shopping, a different way of consumer behavior, meaning categories that will definitely be online purchase even more after the pandemic. And just as this is a very strong sign by looking at Amazon. Now, if you see what Amazon is doing, the searches, online searches Amazon is getting, and if you're looking at the companies, like, for example, I don't even have to look so far. If you look at noon.com, noon.com has done a fabulous job in such a short time to almost bring entire Dubai Mall online through noon.com, right? This is a brilliant support to our community. But in the future, you will see there is a couple of items once you used to over this time to purchase them online or to actually obtain them online. You will continue to do so, right? Because it's not like the virus is going to disappear from one day to another. We still have a conscious within ourselves, our own conscious as a consumer. We will disinfect our hands, we will wash our hands, we will stay far from people. I think this enforcement will be so much embedded in our brains even in the future. So understanding this is a tremendous point. And then looking at what are the lessons learned. As I said, Amazon, and you have to look at Amazon globally. I think 75,000 or 100,000 new workers have been hired globally across Amazon to really come after the demand that the platform is getting at the moment. And I'm sure it's the same for Noon or looking at other e-commerce online players who really take care of their customers and understand this in the proper way. Now, here we go. Amazon has added 75,000 jobs as online surges during lockdowns. So that's a positive sign I want to show you. The world is changing, our user behavior is changing, company behaviors are changing. But how do we make that efficient, and how do we actually turn that the right way for us, and find our new normal in making things happening in a safe and healthy way for everyone? I think this is the question. And this is a question I can't answer for you in 45 minutes or 20 minutes or 5 minutes. That's a question every one of you should, go within themselves, ask yourself, what would you think is the best forward for you to stay happy and healthy and safe? And then apply that and be proactive in the community to help others to make that. Now, examples of applications that consumers can use in online ordering products. This is just a list of what the TRA is actively engaged and providing for you guys to know. So here we see the below list for online grocery shopping apps in the UAE are Union Coop, Carrefour, obviously Amazon and Noon. So those are the most, let's say, used points. So I would like to highlight those companies. You can download them on Android or Google and App Stores, Apple App Stores. Other applications for grocery shopping, you can find them as well. I think the TRA, on TRA website, we can even provide a link, it will be there. Pharmacies and food deliveries, of course, in the verge of having things happening. It's not only about food or grocery deliveries, it's about pharmacies, it's about restaurants, and there is a little app, I think El Grocer or InstaShop, that allows you also instant shopping through across shops that are close by. And I think just now one comment, Awatef, all shops in the mall have opened with free delivery. This is amazing news. I think this is new after the lockdown that the shops are open and have free delivery. So, you know, there is ways of engaging and there is ways of making things happen. We just have to be very careful. Now, how are the 5 steps to help preventing the coronavirus from spreading? Of course, there's a lot of news around it. I just wanted to show you that real quick again here. So no matter what, delivery drivers, no matter where, every single person of ourselves, each one of us has to be better for ourselves and for our community, right? So wash your hands frequently with water or alcohol-based solutions. This should be a minimum of 20 to 30 seconds, purely washing the hands until the soap foams and really rinsing the hands properly. And that process should not be shorter than 20 to 30 seconds, really thoroughly washing your hands on a daily basis and continuing, of course, to not only wash them 2 to 3 times a day, but the best is whenever you touch something that is not inside your house, you should sanitize or wash your hands. Secondly, use your elbow or use your arm to cover your face when you're sneezing or coughing. And you should use disposable tissues in order to clean or wash your hands. This is for the safety of others, maybe not so much for your own, but please make sure, as I said, we're all together in this. So it's not about you, me, her, his. It's all about us, and it starts with us and or myself as a person. This is a very dominant one because it's a contact disease, right? So avoid touching your face, particularly eyes, nose, ears, mouth. Just keep your hands away from it. Even if the virus is on your hands, if you wash it off with soap, you will not get it unless, of course, you would touch your face. Keep the distance. Here in the picture, it shows 1 meter, but I please ask you to disregard this. It's a minimum of 2 meters that you have to keep a distance from other people. So please, please, please make that happen. And of course, the feel, which is the most essential one. If you're not feeling well, if you feel sick, if you feel, you know, you're not 100%, just understand, read. Dubai Health Authority has a very good Instagram channel as well. You can follow them, understand local health authorities, what has to be done, how to make yourself behave in the next step to not be a risk for yourself, your family members, or others. Now, this is a quick outlook, I think, of what we do as a company. If you would want to get in touch with us, you can do so. You can reach out to us. Creative971 is on social media as well, LinkedIn or creative971.com. Now, I think we almost hit the time. So we have now 16, 17 minutes left for our Q&A session. So I thank the TRA and I thank everyone for your attendance over the past almost 45 minutes. I would wanted to understand your questions now, so we can use the last 15 minutes really to focus on the questions and to reply to your questions and make sure everything is answered. Let me just go through questions here. So actually, thank you, everyone. I see a lot of participation. There is comments in Arabic as well, which I'm sure will be answered. I saw the TRA was also giving some replies on that. All right. So how will I do the assessment was one question. I think also the TRA was giving a reply that the assessment link will be added to this video after the course. So you will be able to understand and you will be able to see what are the assessment questions. I believe there are around 10 questions dedicated to the presentation. So everything what was talked about the past 45 minutes will be mentioned there. And you would have to answer those questions basically from there. All right, so where we are, assessment questions. I'm just scrolling through the questions to make sure we have them. The entertainment evolution continues. Yes, Mohammed Maki, I agree with that. And of course, thank you guys for the feedback. Definitely after receiving items, we have to make sure that those items are disinfected. That's a fact. I mean, that's in your own health and safety. That's what I meant. Let me just go through. Okay, I think Buthena, good morning. It was a great session. I want to shop online. How will I trust a company that is not familiar? Buthena, that's a good one. You cannot trust the company if it's not a familiar one, but what you can do, you can find out, check their response to email or phone. You can test them, call them, email them, see what is their reply, how are they interacting with you, even if you haven't bought anything from them. Check their social media. There's ways or indicators. Check their website. There's indicators to show if that's company not familiar, at least are they dealing with me professionally? Are they taking me? Are they acknowledging me as a customer? I think Soraya is asking, can you show the recommended online stores again? As I said, this presentation will be shared as a replay, so we can see that. But the recommended online store, there is a link as well that the TRA provided, which are all local online groceries, pharmacies, restaurant delivery companies. So we'll have that, of course, shared for you, Soraya. Thank you, Mohammed Maki. Thank you very much for that feedback. And now coming to Mahra's question, can you give us examples of apps and websites you've worked on? Of course. So apps and websites we've worked on, you can go to creative971.com/portfolio. You can find the websites we've created for the Middle Eastern customers. As well, you will find which ones in terms of applications. There's one, I think, recent one that was not mentioned yet because it's just been launched, which is called labs.com, which is a Saudi Arabian fashion website. There's an application and a website, which both of us was been done from us. But Mahra, you can go to creative971.com and then work or portfolios. So thank you, everyone. Shall we wash the items once purchased? I think that's a good point, or that's a good question. I think it's really up to your own self, because the virus on a surface can contain a couple of days. Nobody really knows, or I don't know how many days, but if it's me, I would definitely make sure to spray, disinfect, or to wash the items, or definitely wash your hands after touching them. And then, Mahra, I think there was another question. What are your expectations to the e-commerce future after COVID ends? As I said, certainly we're expecting a higher rise in e-commerce. I mean, as an e-commerce agency today, we're seeing a rise of inquiries very, very strongly. And our expectations are companies to be at least 90% e-commerce penetrated. So meaning all the companies that you see today will try to digitalize their business in a form or in a way. It doesn't always have to be e-commerce. But we believe so that at least by 2021, we have a 90% e-commerce penetration, meaning focus on e-commerce. E-trader license, what is your opinion if someone wants to get more involved? You would have to check with the e-trader, because today's topic, Yusuf, was not about the e-trader, but you can definitely have that checked as well. Ahmed was giving a question. As I understand, you told us to online shopping to provide a series of coronavirus, but we know the delivery man is through a number of measurements. What is that about? So as mentioned, you have to understand everyone is trying to do their best. So even delivery companies are giving their delivery drivers measures. Dubai Health Authority gives measures to everyone out there, and everyone has to abide to those rules. Ahmed, there is no changes, or there is no changes for or exceptions for one company to another. So that's why sometimes you can get delays, because also the 30% workforce that is introduced now just a while ago, it doesn't mean everyone can jump to the warehouse and take packages and deliver them to customers. So there is a very high precautions from the Dubai health authorities, of course. Can you show the recommended health stores, the online stores, so that yes, that will be shared. Thuraya, as I said, I see the same question coming across. That will be shared. You can see the presentation and revisit. There was one question, the problem with the online purchase or buying, what if it's a defect goods? Yes, that's a very valid point. As I said, not only the positive things come along, but we will also face challenges. So exchanging will be a challenge these days. As per the Dubai retail rules, there is no exchange possible at these times. So you should really make sure that, whatever you're picking to purchase online is exactly as intended. Do you think people will still prefer online shop when COVID-19 finishes? Yes, I agree. I think so, because I think people will adapt their behavior and will understand the value of not being so much in touch. And I believe that people will, not all of people, of course, but a big number of people will continue to do that. Disadvantage of e-commerce, it's a good question. So obviously there is the loss of human factor, right? E-commerce is not giving you experience if you purchase, let's say, a perfume and you're going in the store. You have a salesperson that maybe flatters you and lets you smell the perfume. Of course, that's a factor. You cannot replicate it on an e-commerce. So things like these would be a disadvantage, but there is a good ways of digital strategies now to capture individual industries. Thank you for your comments. I'm not familiar with the technology. From where can I start to move to eStore? Zahir, I think those questions you can find out from our site, or even tv.creative971.com. And I think we've done a couple of trainings, actually a lot of trainings around e-commerce in collaboration with the TRA. So you will find them on this government channel. And yeah, thank you for your feedback. Thanks, everyone. If I'm not familiar with the technology, yes, Zahir, I think I just answered that as well. Yeah, a lot of comments. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. As a shop owner, I'm not familiar with the technology. Yes, Zahir, as mentioned just now. In the event that delivery companies fail to comply with preventive measures, what actions are taken? So those actions, as you've seen, is closure of stores. I think Dubai Police and Dubai Health Authority working very actively to, to protect our safety. You recommend to buy perfume too? No, the perfume was just an example. All right, I think so far the questions, as I can see, all questions were answered. Is there any more questions from your side? Just hop on the links again. So actually, thank you everyone for this amazing engagement, many comments, and for your time this morning with us and understanding more about changes in consumer behavior or buying behavior towards the COVID-19 situation that we're in. Really thanking you on behalf of the TRA as well. Thanking you on behalf of Creative 971. Whoever wants to get in touch with us, I know there is contact details. As I said, you can reach out to us. Please feel free to also revisit that link, to make sure you can have a look at what online apps are available and what strategies and what can support and benefit you best. And yeah, I think the TRA just dropped the assessment link. So yeah, thank you very much. That's going to be from my end here again, our contact details, Instagram or website creative971.com. And for all of you, thank you and stay safe and stay home.